Hello, Grace Place. I am so glad to be joining you today as we are discussing and studying the book of Daniel. We're getting into the depths of Daniel 3. And you get to see my mugshot on here today talking about this because one of the songs that we're doing right now at Grace Place is called Another in the Fire. And Daniel 3 is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego getting thrown into a furnace, a fiery furnace, by the hands of Nebuchadnezzar and getting rescued. And a lot of you know what that story is from top to bottom. If you don't, definitely read Daniel 3. It's a well worth read. But I wanted to share with you today just some thoughts that I have on the chapter and kind of how I see it playing out in my life today. Usually when I start diving into my faith and diving into kind of the why. Why does everything happen in my life? Why do certain relationships come into my life? Why do I get faced with certain trials? Why am I poor this week? Why am I blessed this week? There's always the why. Lots of questions of why. Here's what I think. I believe that God knew when we were created on this earth that we were going to have struggles. We were going to have trials. We were going to have hills to climb and valleys to walk through. And that's not news to him. In fact, I think he did it intentionally because ultimately what our purpose here on this earth is to have relationship with Christ. Not just so much relationship with each other, but he created us to have relationship with him. And when he knew that our world was going to have these struggles and these trials, he knew that he wanted to do it with us. He wanted to be our rescuer, our refuge. And so as we paint this picture of life in general, we could paint a picture that's full of a lot of struggles and trials and a lot of question marks and what are we actually dealing with here? But the way we handle it and the choices that we make to say that we choose our relationship with Christ first and foremost is really where the rubber meets the road in our faith. The song Another in the Fire, yes, it references Daniel 3, but there's also a lot of other references throughout the entire Bible that it's talking about, whether it be like it says holding back the waters, and I think of the story of Moses walking through the Red Sea and the waters just getting held back. Like who held the waters back, but delivered an entire nation at one time. That's some crazy circumstances where they had enemies coming at them and there was literally no way out. Well, Daniel 3, where they're talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these are three guys that basically refused to bow and worship false gods. That they said this is not Jehovah, this is not Yahweh, and so we will not bow to your gods. And well, they were thrown in some circumstances, right? Nebuchadnezzar said, "We're going. If you're not going to do that, I'm going to throw you in this fire." And this fire was hot, like so hot that the guards that were throwing them into the fire ended up dying before they got thrown into the fire. I know that when I'm looking at the circumstances in my life, sometimes I can have like a sense of fear of what is to come, and that could prevent me from maybe choosing Christ in the middle of it because it detours my thought process. And then other times I see that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my faith in God. And that like distance, that long distance concept of believing is usually easier for me to put my faith in God. I think the parts where I get rattled myself, and this would be a good application for what we could talk about through the application of Daniel 3, is when it's like right in your face. At that moment when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were getting thrown into the fire, there were two guys, and they said they were like the strongest guys in the army. So the biggest, baddest guys they can get, that tied them up. That there were two guys that literally died right in front of their face. Died. I think when death is at my doorstep, like right in front of me, I believe that at that point, the fear that could come over me that could prevent me from maybe staying strong and staying true to what I believe in would be more prevailing at that time. And so I know that we're in a culture today where there is a lot of adversity. There's a lot of a lot of strong left and a lot of strong right, and not a lot of getting along. And I get that it's hard to kind of navigate our faith in the midst of all that. But I just want to encourage you that when fear is at your doorstep, that we choose one thing and one thing only, and that is what does Christ stand for? What would Christ speak into this situation? How would Jesus act in this situation? Even if it is fearful, even if it wants to hold me back, I just want to encourage you that God wants to be with us in these trials. And true victory comes from actually enduring the trials. It doesn't come from not allowing the trials to happen. It's easy just to pray that this never happens, but we end up on this mountaintop of glory. Well, the mountaintop comes because we had to get to the top of the mountain to begin with. And so Jesus said that we're made in relationship with him because he wants to be that victory in our life, and he wants to do it with us and walk through the trials with us. And that's where we find our freedom in him. And so, as we kind of dive into the depths of Daniel 3 and the rest of this book, and then maybe even dive into the song Another in the Fire, I want to encourage you, let's just ask, all right, God, am I allowing you to be with me in these circumstances, in these trials, in these hardships? Are you there to deliver me maybe from some bad choices I've made, maybe from some bad relationships that I've had, maybe from circumstances where I didn't want to stand for my faith and I took the easy way out. That's what Jesus came to do. That's the whole reason Jesus came, was to endure the trial and to bring what true freedom looks like. And so hope you guys get a lot out of this, as much as I have this week. And let's continue pressing into Daniel together. Take care.